March 10, 2019, dawned like any other day. At Addis Ababa Bole International Airport, travelers prepared for their journeys. Among them were the 149 passengers and 8 crew members of Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302. At 8:38 a.m., under a clear sky, Flight 302 roared down the runway and soared into the air. However, just 6 minutes after takeoff, the aircraft's trajectory shifted from routine to terrifying. The plane began to oscillate erratically, its altitude fluctuating dramatically. The pilots, battling against an unknown force, fought valiantly to control the rapidly descending aircraft. At 8:44 a.m., only 6 minutes after takeoff, communication with Flight 302 ceased. The unthinkable had happened. A brand new aircraft, carrying 157 souls, had plummeted to the ground near the town of Bishoftu. News of the crash sent shockwaves across the globe. Families and friends of those on board were left in agonizing limbo, clinging to hope even as their worst fears were confirmed. The crash of Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 was not merely a local tragedy. It was a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the inherent risks associated with air travel. The international community mourned alongside Ethiopia, united in grief over the loss of so many lives. The investigation into the crash of Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 was one of the most comprehensive and scrutinized in aviation history. At the forefront of the investigation was the black box, the flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder, which held vital clues to the aircraft's final moments. As investigators delved deeper into the wreckage and the data, a chilling pattern began to emerge. Eerie similarities to another recent aviation disaster, the crash of Lion Air Flight 610, sent shockwaves through the investigation. Both flights involved brand-new Boeing 737 MAX aircraft, and both crashes occurred shortly after takeoff. On that fateful morning, Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 began its journey at Addis Ababa Bole International Airport. Captain Yared Getachew, a seasoned pilot, and First Officer Ahmed Nur Mohammed completed their pre-flight checks. At 8:38 a.m., Flight 302 received clearance for takeoff. The takeoff seemed routine, a testament to the skill of the pilots and the advanced technology of the Boeing 737 MAX. What unfolded in the next few minutes would not only bring unimaginable grief to families across the globe, but also send shockwaves through the aviation industry. The story of Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 is a stark reminder of the delicate balance between human ingenuity and the unforgiving realities of physics and fate. As families anxiously awaited the arrival of their loved ones in Nairobi, news of the crash spread like wildfire. The international community, united in mourning, demanded answers. In the aftermath of the Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 tragedy, investigators faced a daunting task. The Ethiopian government, in collaboration with international aviation authorities, launched a comprehensive investigation. The black boxes, the flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder, recovered from the wreckage, held vital clues to the aircraft's final moments. As investigators delved into the wreckage and analyzed the data, a disturbing pattern began to emerge. The black boxes, retrieved from the wreckage of Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302, were meticulously transported to a specialized facility for analysis. The flight data recorder provided a second-by-second account of the aircraft's performance leading up to the crash. The cockpit voice recorder offered a chilling glimpse into the cockpit environment during those fateful minutes. The pilots' voices revealed their growing concern as they battled to regain control of the rapidly descending aircraft. The data revealed a series of anomalies, unexpected fluctuations in sensor readings, and control inputs that hinted at a struggle between the pilots and the aircraft's systems. The investigation into Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 took a dramatic turn when investigators uncovered a series of haunting parallels with another recent aviation disaster: the crash of Lion Air Flight 610. Both flights involved brand-new Boeing 737 MAX 8 aircraft. Both crashed shortly after takeoff, and both exhibited erratic flight patterns. The similarities extended beyond the circumstances of the crashes. The preliminary data retrieved from the black boxes of both aircraft revealed similar anomalies in sensor readings and control inputs. The Lion Air crash, initially considered an isolated incident, now took on a chilling new significance. The focus of the investigation shifted to a critical system in the Boeing 737 MAX, the Maneuvering Characteristics Augmentation System, or MCS. As the investigation into Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 progressed, a sense of urgency gripped the aviation world. The similarities with the Lion Air crash raised serious concerns about the airworthiness of the Boeing 737 MAX. Within days of the Ethiopian Airlines crash, aviation authorities worldwide began grounding the Boeing 737 MAX. Boeing, facing intense scrutiny, launched its own internal investigation while cooperating with ongoing investigations by aviation authorities. The aviation industry was at a crossroads, forced to confront uncomfortable questions about safety protocols and the role of automation in modern aircraft. At the heart of the investigations into both the Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 and Lion Air Flight 610 crashes was the Maneuvering Characteristics Augmentation System, or MCAS. This system, unique to the Boeing 737 MAX, was designed to address a specific aerodynamic challenge posed by the aircraft's new, larger engines. The 737 MAX's engines, positioned further forward and higher on the wings, created a tendency for the aircraft's nose to pitch upward under certain flight conditions. To mitigate this risk, Boeing engineers developed MCAS, designed to automatically push the aircraft's nose down if it detected a dangerously high angle of attack. However, the system's design and implementation contained critical flaws that would have tragic consequences. One of the most glaring flaws in the MCAS system was its reliance on a single angle of attack, or AOA, sensor for input. In the event of an AOA sensor malfunction, MCAS would receive erroneous data, potentially leading it to believe that the aircraft was approaching a stall even when it was not. This single point of failure made MCAS incredibly vulnerable to false activations. The reliance on a single AOA sensor, coupled with the lack of a fail-safe mechanism, created a dangerous scenario where a single component failure could have catastrophic consequences. Section 3. The human cost of automation. The tragic crashes of Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 and Lion Air Flight 610 remind us of the human cost of aviation accidents. Behind the headlines were 346 individuals with dreams and loved ones. The victims hailed from over 35 countries. Their loss sent shockwaves across the globe. Investigations highlighted the human element of aviation safety. Pilots struggled with the malfunctioning MCAS system. The tragedies underscored the importance of clear communication and training. Lessons learned continue to shape the aviation industry, driving improvements in safety. Section 1. The struggle in the cockpit. Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 climbed into the sky. Captain Yared Getachew and First Officer Ahmed Nur Mohammed felt something was wrong. The aircraft's nose pitched down unexpectedly. The MCAS system activated due to a faulty sensor. The pilots struggled to understand the issue. They fought to control the plane. Each time they pulled back, MCAS pushed down. The battle between human and machine continued. Communication with air traffic control grew frantic. Their voices conveyed confusion and fear. They couldn't diagnose the problem quickly. The nose-down commands overwhelmed them. The situation became more dire. The ground neared with alarming speed. Tragically, their efforts were in vain. At 8:44 a.m., 6 minutes after takeoff, the aircraft crashed near Bishoftu, Ethiopia. Section 2. The Training Gap. The Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 crash revealed a critical gap in pilot training regarding the MCAS system. MCAS was not prominently featured in the training materials provided to pilots. This omission left pilots unprepared to handle malfunctions of this critical system. Boeing assumed pilots needed only minimal additional training. This led to a lack of comprehensive simulator training on MCAS malfunctions. The training materials briefly mentioned MCAS, but did not emphasize its potential risks. Many pilots were caught off guard by the system's aggressive nose-down commands. They were left to improvise under immense pressure. The gap in their training became evident amidst the chaos of a malfunctioning aircraft. The situation called for a robust understanding of the aircraft's systems. Without adequate training on MCAS, the pilots were deprived of crucial knowledge. This training gap underscored the need for more rigorous pilot education. Section 3. The immediate aftermath. The crash of Ethiopian Airlines. Flight 302 had immediate and far-reaching consequences. Aviation authorities worldwide grounded all Boeing 737 MAX aircraft. This disrupted flights, stranded passengers, and raised safety concerns. Airlines faced operational and financial challenges. They scrambled to reassign aircraft and adjust schedules. Boeing faced legal and financial repercussions. Lawsuits, compensation claims, and scrutiny followed. Boeing's leadership was called to account in various forums. Executives explained the flawed MCAS implementation. Hearings were tense and emotional. The human cost was a constant reminder of the tragedy. Memorials were held worldwide, calling for accountability. The crash prompted reforms to prevent future disasters. Changes included certification processes, pilot training, and safety emphasis. Section 1. Grounding a giant. The grounding of the Boeing 737 MAX, a global fleet of over 800 aircraft, was unprecedented in aviation history. It disrupted air travel, impacted airlines, and cast doubt over Boeing. The grounding stretched into years as investigators examined the aircraft's design and software. Airlines faced financial losses, and passengers demanded answers. The world watched as Boeing worked to regain trust. The grounding of the 737 MAX plunged Boeing into a crisis. The company faced criticism, lawsuits, and investigations. Billions in losses and legal fees followed. Boeing's reputation lay in tatters. Investigations revealed systemic failures. Cost-cutting was prioritized over safety. Risks of the MCAS system were not communicated. Pilots lacked necessary training. Public trust eroded. Leadership faced intense scrutiny. Congressional hearings put executives in the hot seat. They had to answer tough questions. The pressure to implement changes was immense. The grounding of the Boeing 737 MAX marked the beginning of a long and arduous journey for Boeing to regain the trust of the aviation industry and the flying public. The company embarked on a comprehensive effort to address the technical issues with the aircraft, revamp its safety culture, and restore its reputation. The road to redemption would be paved with rigorous testing, software updates, enhanced pilot training, and a renewed commitment to transparency and accountability. Boeing engineers worked tirelessly to redesign the MCAS system, incorporating multiple layers of redundancy and safeguards to prevent unintended activations. The software updates underwent extensive testing, both in simulators and on test flights, to ensure their effectiveness and safety. Boeing also developed comprehensive training programs for pilots, focusing on the MCAS system, its operation, and procedures for handling potential malfunctions. Throughout the process, Boeing maintained open communication with regulators, airlines, and the public, providing regular updates on its progress and addressing concerns. The company also conducted a thorough review of its internal processes, identifying areas for improvement in its engineering practices, safety culture, and communication protocols. The tragic saga of Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 and Lion Air Flight 610 exacted a heavy price: 346 lives and trust in a global industry. The crashes exposed vulnerabilities in the aviation ecosystem, highlighting the balance between technology, oversight, and human factors. Boeing faced staggering financial implications and a profound blow to its reputation. The investigations revealed a complex interplay of factors. Competitive pressures led to shortcuts in design and certification. Over-reliance on automation without considering failures was fatal. Lack of transparency hindered crucial safety communication. The human cost remains immeasurable. Families and friends of victims continue to seek answers. The aviation industry must learn from the past to prevent future tragedies. The legacy of Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 and the broader Boeing 737 MAX crisis is a complex one, forever etched in tragedy, yet also defined by the profound changes it spurred within the aviation industry. The crashes served as a stark wake-up call, prompting a global reckoning with safety protocols, regulatory oversight, and the human factors that remain critical even in an age of advanced automation. In the wake of the tragedies, aviation authorities worldwide implemented sweeping reforms. Aircraft certification processes were strengthened, placing greater emphasis on independent verification and testing of critical systems. Pilot training programs were overhauled, incorporating mandatory simulator training on MCS and emphasizing crew resource management, the effective communication and coordination among pilots during emergencies. Perhaps the most significant change has been a renewed focus on transparency and accountability within the aviation industry. Boeing, in its efforts to regain the trust of regulators, airlines, and the flying public, has taken steps to enhance its internal safety culture, improve communication channels, and prioritize safety considerations throughout its design and manufacturing processes. The pursuit of safer skies is a collective responsibility shared by manufacturers, airlines, regulators, and passengers. The tragedies of Ethiopian Airlines, Flight 302 and Lion Air Flight 610 remind us of the stakes involved. Innovation in aviation must prioritize safety for every passenger and crew member. Lessons from past tragedies must guide future decisions. Aviation unites people, fosters understanding, and drives progress. Upholding safety standards ensures the skies remain safe for generations. The journey towards safer skies demands our unwavering commitment and dedication.